Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
All right, people, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Coach's Desk. I'm your host, Coach Minzy, and we are here to talk to one Jamaican, Dennis Chung, who many say will be the next General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation. People, he's already here in the waiting room. We're going to get it over with and get him on the show because we are looking to have a lot of information from Sir Chung in this one tonight. Yeah, man. Before we get him on, I also want to welcome all the persons over there on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the show, and we certainly appreciate you being there. Just give the video a thumbs up, and certainly we are going to get right into it. So I want you to put your hands together and help me welcome to the Coach's Desk, Mr. Dennis Chung.
Hi, how
Mr.
you
Chung,
doing?
good to have you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, man, it's indeed a good feeling to have you on our show, first time. And we appreciate you taking the time out. You're a busy man, but for you to stop by, it's indeed a pleasure. So, the people have a lot of questions. I'm going to be getting their questions after I get through a few of the questions. Yes, we acknowledge what is happening, but before we get into the meat of the matter, just give us a little insight of how you got into this whole accounting thing. Did you like maths from day one from you were at school? Talk to us about that a little bit before we get into the finer details.
Yeah, I wasn't the best at mathematics, but a lot of people don't understand accounting is not really math, Accounting involves mathematics, but accounting is a lot of theory. But I was very good at accounting. My father was an accountant, and I remember in third form, when I was 13, he actually carried me up to the University of the West Indies and said, "This is where you'll come and do your master's degree when you finish JC." So it was always in my mind that I was going to leave JC and go straight to the university and do my bachelor's and my master's. And he used to carry me to a lot of accounting seminars when I was in sixth form, and he sort of pushed me that way. But I like it. I think that is actually a great profession to be in because you see the whole cycle of the business when you're an accountant. You see everything. The accountant is probably the only person in the organization who knows what's happening everywhere because, accounting is the blood of the business. So when I left Jamaica College, I just went straight and did it. I did my CPA after I finished my master's in the States. And then I just started working in accounting. I was president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. I was on the board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean. So the rest is history. That's it basically. Nothing special.
All right. So, all right. You have touched on, tell us a little bit about that aspect of your life. But in terms of sports, talk to us about how you got involved in sports. Were you a sports fan at school? Did you play sports for Jamaica College? You're a JC old boy now.
Yeah, no, I didn't play for Jamaica College. And because I just didn't try out for the teams, but I played for my farm, my house. I played corner league for my community. You know, I played a lot of cricket. I was actually very good at cricket. I used to bat very well and spin ball. I, in fact, remember that I used to play for a little community, and a side in Havendale wanted someone to bolster their team, you know, some little communities. And I was, at 10 years old, I went and I opened the bat for them, you know. I played softball. I used to do a lot of long distance running also. So I did a lot of things. I never really went out for any team, you know, to play. Later on in life, when I was about 35 or so, I played Tourist League, which was just before Masters. So I've always played football, cricket, you know, a lot of softball I played. So everything, table tennis. I used to play a lot of table tennis. And then I actually was playing a lot of squash also. So I was running, and while I was training for a marathon, because I did a few half marathons, my knee actually went. My knee got very bad because of the squash, the football, and the running. I did knee surgery. That was in 2010, and I started cycling since then. And ever since then, I've been doing a lot of cycling. In fact, I was telling someone yesterday that next year I'm going to be doing the 10th year straight of the Kingston to Negril ride to Kingston to Negril from Kingston every year, 158 miles. You know, but what it is, the common thing about sports is that it trains you to develop mental toughness. You know, because you can imagine, I mean, us riding for 158 miles, it takes us probably 9 hours, you know, to get there, and it's a lot of physical demand, you know. So how I got into JFF, it's an interesting story because
before you get into that, because I want you to tell us about that, but before you get into that, I know Mr. Dennis Chung for the whole accounting thing and the cycling thing. How long have you been doing this cycling thing? Because many persons probably know you because of that as well.
Yeah, I've been cycling since 2010. When I did the knee surgery, the physiotherapist said to me, "Boy, you know, buy a bicycle and ride, because cycling doesn't impact the joints." So I started riding and told the guy where I bought the bicycle from, well, you know, I'm just doing this to recover, and then I'll start running again. I never ran again after that. We're talking about 6 bicycles later, you know, and a lot of cycling all over the place, thousands and thousands of miles every year of cycling. And that's just it. And it's something I live by. A ride between inside riding and outside. I do over 100 miles a week. You know,
that's incredible, man.
Yeah, and I think exercise is important.
Definitely.
You know?
One thing I can say is that exercise slows down the aging process.
Yes.
So it is indeed a good thing. So let's segue back into this whole you getting involved in the Jamaica Football Federation. Is it because you were a top financial analyst, the reason why they drafted you in? I want you to tell us that story.
Well, let me tell you how it happened. And I go back to the days, you know, Craig Butler, right?
Yes.
Craig, I went to school with Craig. And he was about 2 years below me. When my son was about 12 or so, he used to play football, but he was very good, but he wasn't confident. And I was talking to Craig, and Craig said, "Carry him to Phoenix." Craig had Phoenix Academy, and I started carrying him there and managing the Phoenix side. At 9 years old, who played for us also was Leon Chippy Bailey, right? Leon Bailey played with Phoenix at the time. I managed the team. We did very well, came second in the CASAFA under 13 competition. And I actually have a runners-up manager's medal that was presented me by CASAFA, which I display very proudly. But it was a pleasure working with the children, you know, and seeing them develop. My son my son developed a lot of confidence. He actually went on to play Manning Cup for Campion. He was the number 10, you know. So he was the general in the team. And he went on to play a lot of football after that. So when I was at PSOJ, as CEO, Craig called me and he said, "Boy, Dennis, I want to talk to JFF about getting Leon Bailey in the team." Leon was an upcoming star at the time. And he said, Mike Ricketts. I said, "Boy, I don't know him, but I'll call him, and I called Mike, set up something with Craig. Craig spoke to him and, got there. And Mike called me back and said, "Hey, Dennis, I need a finance committee chair, and an independent person on the board. Will you come and sit?" And I said, "Boy, why not? I love football. One of the greatest feelings for me about Jamaica was 1998 when Jamaica qualified, sitting in that stadium and watching Jamaica qualify for the World Cup. I don't know if people will ever know what it is like. You have to experience it. It's like I said to people going to a school like Jamaica College, and being in the stadium when you win Manning Cup, when you win champs, when you win Sunlight. It's a feeling that you can't explain to somebody.
Unexplainable.
Yeah, man. And therefore I said, when Mike called me, I said, "Hey, yeah, no problem. I'll come and help JFF." I've been there for 2 years now, as a finance committee chair, and on the board. In the 2 years, we've done a lot. I think we haven't spoken about it much, but we are fully up to date with our audited accounts. And we made surplus over the past 2 years, and those are 2 pandemic years. A lot of people don't realize the problem that JFF has is that there's a huge deficit coming forward from even before this administration that we've had to deal with, but we've been reducing it. And that's how I got into JFF. Nothing magical as again.
Okay. All right. So we soon get back to that surplus point that you made. But what you have been there, you said 2 years, but what could you tell us if there's any the cause or what caused the JFF not to be able to, get any sponsorship for the past few years?
I think the JFF's image has not been good, and with reason. I mean, there are a lot of things that could have been handled differently. The marketing was not that great. The whole issue of the finances, and a lot of things were out there in the public space. Some of them true, some of them not true, to be honest with you. And what happened is that there are a few players involved, right? So you have the JFF, you have the parishes, the clubs, the Reggae Boyz, and there are various teams, the Reggae Girls, and it takes a lot to pull them together, right? So you had people talking out there. There are a lot of emotions, and you're going to find that. And I think the JFF sort of lost control of it. Recently, the work that the president has initiated, for example, he has brought in people and done certain internal changes. I can say one of the things he announced when we're watching the Argentina match. For the first time in a long term, the JFS had paid per diem to the players while we were there, while we were at the match, and we've been making a lot of payments down on a lot of the debt, but there's a huge burden coming forward. And I think that's what caused it. It's just a bad PR around it, that caused it. And I think that is changing now. You see, we have a new coach coming in, new team. The president is making some changes, and we're seeing a lot of positives coming out of JFF now. I think.
Why did it take so long? Sorry to interject there. Why did it take so long for them to do some sort of damage control to really clear up the air, so to speak? Yeah. Because most of the things that have been said, it has gone silent, or they have gone silent on their part, while things just go around, and the things have been said. Nobody came out like with a press release and inform the public that you might be having some shortcomings, but this is what we're doing. We are not getting that feedback from the JFF.
And that's true. That's very true. I think that is the issue. The issue is that we have not been engaging our publics very well at the JFF, and that is changing as you see it. Over the past few weeks, you'll see a lot of engagement. That's an initiative coming from the president. He sat down and devised certain strategies. So you'd have seen me and myself and Rudolph speaking a lot. And it is necessary. I mean, and I say that from my experience, for example, at the NSWMA. I mean, you couldn't have any worse news coming out than a place like that. In 2015, when I took it over, it was seen as the most corrupt organization when I went as chairman. We deliberately, said that, we have to engage people. We have to let people know what is going on, which we did. So, we have a serious garbage collection now, but because we engage people and tell them what the situation is, even before it occurs, we get a lot of support from that. So I think that has been the main shortfall that JFS has faced. But I think it's changing now. I mean, over the past, we've been in the press basically over the past week or so, dominating it. And 95% of that has been good, which is a good turnaround, So it shows it can happen. And it's not that everything has gone away. I recall while I was at the match, the Argentina match, the discussions that the president even sat down and had with the players, because some of the issues are coming with the players, that sort of engagement, a lot of that has been happening internally. So I think it's a new day you're looking at, I know that the president realizes that we're really on the up now, and he's gonna take care of that and make sure that we continue to engage people. I am not the general secretary. That's something for the consideration of the board. When the board meets, there's a process that needs to happen. And I've been talking primarily as finance committee chair,
right.
on the instructions of the president. But if I were to be there, engagement and communication is key for me. And I mean, people see it at the NSWMA. Transparency and governance are my buzzwords. Those are the most important things to me.
So it's essentially we're expecting a more transparent with the overall that is taking place. We're expecting a more transparent JFF body going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's the only way to go. You're asking people to come and support you. There's a lot of emotions from Jamaicans. Football is a very emotional thing. You're asking people to come and pay money to come and watch the matches that you put on. You have to engage them. The Jamaicans are our customers, and we should be looking to engage Jamaicans as customers. And, things are not going to be going right all the time, but, you have to tell people, you have to level with people and say, this is the situation that I'm facing. That's how I operate. I mean, something going wrong, I'm going to tell you, this is going wrong, right? And the fact that Jamaicans are engaging and criticize us is a good thing. As I was saying to someone last night, one of the worst things, for example, if you're in a relationship, when you go home, and your wife don't say nothing, you have a problem.
Yes. Yeah,
when she talk and first, all right. But when she don't say nothing, you have a problem. So I love the fact that Jamaicans criticize us means that they care.
So Mr. Chung, you're saying that the JFF has no problem with the vloggers, which are the new media, going at them in terms of criticism. That's what you're saying.
Well, based on my conversation with the president, he understands that. I can't speak for individual person, but he would primarily be the main representative. I personally don't have a problem. I want to know, if you have a problem with me, tell me, because I mean, if I have all yes men around me, about the emperor's clothes.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I don't want to be in that situation where the emperor is in.
Absolutely.
Tell me if there's a problem. That's the only way I can improve. And I think that is the stance that he has decided to take, and that we have to take. as a body, if we want to, because we're asking people to trust us,
And yeah, that's a very good point that you're making, Sir Chung, because here is it that the fans are the ones that support the 12th man, as we were called. We go out, we buy ticket, we are the football lovers, avid football fans, the consumers of the football. On these platforms, you have hardcore fans, both locally and in the diaspora. And sometimes it really hurts to know that the fans are left out in terms of information wise. And I think that's one of the things that the fans have problems with. And like you said, it is identified as something that should be worked on. And once it's going forward that way, then trust me, the relationship is going to be good going forward.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the only way to go. You have to live with people. You have to let people know what's happening. I mean, even when you're dealing with children, you have to say, boy, this is the reality. And then you work it out from there. But the worst thing is to have a situation where you have problems or you feel a certain way about something, you don't say it. So I mean, I'm like that too. I'm not hypocritical. I hate a hypocrite, right? So if I have a problem with you, you will know. I'm not going to talk anything about right behind your back that you don't know. Right. I will say to you, this is the situation, and you like it or you don't like it. At the end of the day, if you don't like me, that's fine. I go home and talk to my dogs. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yes, definitely. All right. One of the things that the fans have been asking for is the financial report. And since you are the finance person, there was this report that was sent out by the administration. Some persons understands it, some persons don't. Some persons see it as the federation being broke, but in the same breath, there seems to be some sort of surplus of $20 million that you explained. Some of these terminologies used and the way the report was structured, of course, it is in keeping with good governance of where the accounting is concerned. However, I would love for you to explain it to the novices, so to speak. How would you have gotten a surplus? We got an explanation, but we want to hear it from the horse's mouth, wanting of a better term. So could you explain that to the fans?
All right. So you're talking about you're talking about the audited financial statements, right? That was posted on the Facebook page. Right. All right. So we took the decision that we're going to post those things. We haven't posted the 2021 yet because it hasn't gone to the AGM, which is in December. But basically, what it is that JFF has a going concern issue because we do have a high deficit. But for the period 2020, right, for January to December 2020, we made a surplus of $15 million. However, we had a deficit coming forward of about $150 million at the time. So in other words, the losses before that would have accumulated $150 million. The fact that we made a surplus of $15 million in 2020 means that we're reducing the deficit that is there. And in 2021, we made a surplus of $5 million. So we're taking steps to reduce the deficit. But you'll notice on the auditor's report that there's a going concern qualification. In other words, it's saying that JFF still has a huge deficit, and they have to find ways of addressing that, because that is what is causing the problem, right? So I understand. I mean, in reality, the truth is that, I mean, if you look at it from that point of view in terms of the equity, JFF is broke. That's true. But the fact is that there's new money coming in, and there's the ability to carry money through sponsorship that can reduce that deficit. I am hoping that we can put things in place so that in another 1 to 2 years, right, we can remove that deficit, right? So maybe 2 years time, but it is going to be a challenge, and it continues to be a challenge. But one of the things that the president has done, which is working very effectively, is that over the past few weeks, he has had a meeting every week with the executive, me as finance committee chair, and the accounts department. And we've been going over the matter of the payments, which payments to be made, what are the debts that we need to manage, and doing all of those things. So we're getting to everybody soon, and we're trying to touch the important people, because we do owe a lot of people for quite a while. And most of the debt, as I said, came even before this president came into office. So we're trying to see the best thing that we can do. How can we convert some of this debt to sponsorship? How can we convert to equity and give people value and pay people where we can pay people? But it's not an overnight thing. We can't solve it overnight. I might have to call on some of the fans sometimes. Like last night I was doing an interview, and one of the persons said, listen, in the diaspora, set up a GoFundMe for it. We'll help. And anything that we can do, if we have 2 million 2 million fans, and everybody gives us $10, it go far away.
And you're perfectly right, Sir Chung. But you see, the problem with that, though, is because the fans they feel left out, they are going to say, I'm going to tell you straight as is, they are going to say they don't trust the JFF with their monies, because they believe that because of maladministration, they are not going to be able to handle that money as equitable as possible, if wanting of a better term.
And that is very true. I agree with you. And the truth is that, the JFF, as we were, I would never send my money there either, to be honest with you, right? But I'm saying that if you look at what has happened over the past week, it's changing. So we have to settle the issue of the GenSec, whether it be me or not, and we have to get somebody in place that people can trust, right? Because that's going to be critical. And I'm telling you that we are making the strides internally from a finance point of view, and I believe in transparency, right? So we are ensuring that we abide by all the guidelines from FIFA. As I said, we have our audited financials up to date. That's important. And we are going to be engaging the public a lot more. And that's all that we can do right now. We know that we have broken wings right now, and we have to repair it. We have to repair it with the fans. I don't expect that people are going to just say, just because JFF say we need some help, we're going to help. No, we build the trust in the relationship first. That's important, and that's why we have to look into ourselves and do the internal changes, right? So the board meets in another week or so to settle the matter of GenSec. We're working with FIFA to get certain things done. We have a governance committee in place. We're working with FIFA on governance, on getting certain things in place. And when the fans believe that they can give us back some of the trust, then we'll be happy at that time. But we are going to work. What we're saying right now is that it is at level 0 or 1. We know we're not going any lower than that right now, based on the trend that we have. So we're just going to move it up and up.
All right. So a few days ago, an article was released that you have not been given anything in writing to say that you're going to be taking up the position, and you alluded to that you're not the GenSec right now. You're still speaking as the financial committee chair. Now, having seen how this seat is a hot seat, because I think you used that term, that the GenSec position is, why do you intend to take up a challenge as this, if you decide to take the position?
People ask me that all the while, and this is what I answer them. In 2015, when Portia Simpson Miller called me and said, "Boy, Dennis, I want you to chair the National Solid Waste Management Authority." It was seen as the most corrupt organization in the country. A lot of people called me and said, "Dennis, do not go. You're going to damage your reputation," right? there are two things. Number one, I am someone who has been doing public service since the late 1990s on the Betting Game and Lotteries Commission, FinSac Oversight Commission. And my biggest passion is Jamaica. I love Jamaica and I love the ordinary Jamaicans. And if I can do something to make Jamaica a better place, I'm going to do it, because I don't think that you should be a citizen of a country and when it needs you, you just step aside, right? If you're called to give service to a country, you must give service to your country and make your country better, right? So, I mean, even the crime situation, everybody's saying, oh, the police, the police, the police. What are we doing individually,
as citizens,
to address it and make sure law and order is there, right? So I don't run from these things. And the fact that I was asked, right, Mike said to me, boy, listen, it was actually about 2 weeks ago that he kept talking to me and saying, boy, Dennis, I want you to do this thing, right? And I was saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And then he, talking to me, and I'd already was going to be available because I had resigned from SPL. And I said, all right, Mike, I said, all right, Mike, I'll do it. And this is how the thing came. I don't know how all of this got into the media, to be honest with you. I mean, if people who know me know I'm mostly more an introvert than anything else, right? It's just that I talk publicly because it demands the roles that I do demand it. So I said, boy, let me do it. The other thing is that I love football, right? And I've always loved football, and also I believe, right, as someone said to me, that Sheryl Sandberg, actually a minister of government said it to me, that Sheryl Sandberg actually said when she went to Facebook, the best way to make an impact is to fix a problem. If you're going to a situation where everything is okay, you cannot make as great as impact as going to a situation where there's a problem. And therefore, I believe that with the trend that the president is on, with the commitment that's here, and what I know I can do, that we can make this possible. And we can, in 2026, I would love to see us going to World Cup again, because that feeling in 1998, it was a great feeling, right? And if I can make a difference, then I'll make a difference, And a lot of people say, boy, but you're feeling at the trough. That's what they said, and it's so me, and people say, there's corruption and things. Let me tell you something. You see, when you sit on government boards, right? And I'm someone who, I don't mess with my integrity, right? It costs you time and money to actually sit on government boards, People don't realize that,
Okay.
That's sacrifice. No, you see, my integrity, I don't mess with my integrity, because that's the last thing, that's the only thing I have that I can leave as legacy, really, for my children. So I don't mess with that. So I don't know about the person who do something for a financial benefit or to have some chicanery, because I'm not like that, right? I do it for those two reasons primarily. And, hopefully most people will understand. I know that you'll always have some cynics, but that's primarily why I do it. And that's why I take it on. I mean, obviously, as I said, Mike Ricketts had called me and engaged me, and the fact that I see him trying and I can do it, I'm going to do it,
All right, because it is said that Mr. President is not really the bad person in the Federation, I'm not sure if you have heard that, but there are a few pieces in the Federation that really would have caused the Federation to come under this heavy scrutiny. But what would be your new thrust, to help propel this JFF to the new levels that we're expecting it to be? What would you bring to the
it's really my expertise from the point of view of financial management understanding what needs to be done, understanding working with the various components, ensuring that the JFF is seen from a transparent point of view, and there's viability that's critical, and being transparent about everything. I see a comment in up from a Kyle Wallace there saying that audits need to be published annually. Well, they are, which is what we're talking about. What was published on the Facebook was the 2020 audit, right? We can't publish the 2021 yet because it has to go to the AGM first. And once that goes to the AGM in December, then it will be published, and that is what we're going to do, and you'll always have people who have their doubts, and that's fine, we can only do what we can do, but we know what we're going to do. We're going to bring transparency and good governance to it, right? And that's a commitment that I would want to make, that I am committed to, and ensure that we engage the fans and engage our publics, or potential sponsors, all the stakeholders in the football. Want to engage people and engage them in a real way, not just to say that we're going to engage people when things are good, when things are bad too. When we need to tell people yes, we tell them yes, and when we need to tell them no, we tell them no. That as simple as that. And yes. that's the only commitment we have. That's what we can do. Can't do anything else.
Okay, all right, fair enough. When you go into the hot seat, as we call it, if and when, yes, if and, because you have not made a definitive decision where that is concerned. So yes, when and if you go into that hot seat,
the board hasn't met on it.
Right, and they'd have to go through that sort of procedure.
Right.
All right, fair enough. All right, question: is Mr. Wint still on the payroll of the Jamaica Football Federation? Is he still quote unquote the GenSec?
Well, let me just say that I think that has been addressed publicly by the president. It's not something I want to deal with. I wouldn't want to comment on that, because that's above my pay grade right now. So the president, I think, would have to address that matter.
All right.
But I mean, the president had indicated that he is going to name a new GenSec, which suggests the implication is that there
isn't one. All right, fair enough. Yeah. There's this
that's implication from that statement. Yeah.
Right. There's this matter that many of the fans see Mr. Chung as one that is very pertinent to the whole football, and that has to do with the logo. And I think it can be answered from a financial standpoint. They want to know who is really the owner of the Reggae Boyz logo, or trademark, if you call it that.
Well, the JFF is the owner of it.
The JFF is the owner of the logo. The Reggae Boyz.
JFF is the owner of it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If there's anybody out there that's using it and is not authorized, then we really should know and sue them.
All right. We really have heard otherwise, do you know? We have heard otherwise that
no, the JFF is the owner. No, the JFF is the owner of all the logos and the trademark for the Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls, everything. It's JFF that owns it.
All right, cool. So people, here you have it. Mr. Chung is saying the logo is owned by the JFF. So right now, I'm going to be taking questions from the comment section. So you can throw out your questions in the comment section, and I'll go through as many as possible, hoping that Mr. Chung would be able to answer them. All right, the first one I'm seeing there: as fans, we should be confident that anything will change when it's essentially the same people in office. How would you answer that?
Well, I mean, the fact that you have a change in the administration doesn't mean that there's the same people in office. So that's how I'd answer it.
Okay.
And I understand the skepticism also, but we would have to prove that. I don't expect that people are going to think that we're going to, change overnight. I mean, there's a lot of trust issues, but as I said, there are a lot of changes that are being made. I mean, you see the coaching staff,
Mm-hmm.
the changes internally in terms of personnel, and we just have to trust that it will happen, and we have to prove that, and we're going to do that. So I can't say no. There's nothing I can say right no apart from that.
Mm-hmm.
But then in time, people will see it. That the changes are being made.
All right. Or will transparency in financial matters lead to transparency and viability in executive appointments?
In executive appointments,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, in terms of financial matters, we will be publishing our audited financials every year once they pass through the the AGM, which is what is done also on the stock exchange. People publish their audited accounts, and we'll be doing that. Um, of course, for me, transparency in financial matters internally is important because my integrity is on the line, right? And I have to make sure that things run how it has to run because there's an accountability to FIFA also, right? And that is what holds us accountable internally. In terms of executive appointments, that is something that the board does. I always believe that, and I've said it for government boards also, that the heads of companies should always be appointed, or the chairman of companies, that the government should appoint the chairman of companies. Why? Because if we're going to ask, for example, a president, right, or a minister to work to be accountable for the performance of an organization, then it would be difficult to ask them to be accountable for it and then somebody else appoint the head for them. That for me, that just doesn't make any sense. You can't ask somebody to be accountable for something, but then they don't have the authority. And that's why I think that executive appointments need to be made in that way, for government and any other entity. And that's how it runs in private sector also. If you are held accountable for something, you are the one who must be able to make the appointments, because it is people who are the competitive edge in any organization. And if you lose control of that, you have a problem. So I wouldn't be expecting that, any organization asks the public, say, hey, who should I appoint as an executive? No, it doesn't work like that. It's the board. The board of an organization is given the primary responsibility for that, and has the accountability under the laws and the accountability to its publics. And they should have the right and the authority to appoint the executives in that case.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough with that explanation. All right. Moving on to the next question. How do you guys plan on getting the fans back into the stadium?
Well, what we have to do is give people value, right? So we need to ensure that we have a proper coaching staff in place, that can bring a team together that's going to perform. Because that's, we hold the coaching staff accountable for the performance of the team, right? If the team is doing well and we are able to attract high quality matches to the stadium, people come,
Mm-hmm.
because people love football.
Right.
So people come, and that's what we intend to do. Of course, we have to engage with people, because I think one of the problems that we've had is that we've not been engaging with the fans properly. But I know the president has some plans in terms of bringing the right quality teams here. In November, for example, our Reggae Girls, who qualified for World Cup, will be playing Paraguay, which is a good
Mm-hmm.
side, in Jamaica, on the
In
10th
Jamaica.
in Mobay, and on the 13th in Kingston. I
Yes.
mean, and that's the sort of quality. You saw the match we had with Argentina. I mean, can you imagine if we can bring a top of South American side here to play Jamaica? That's the sort of thing we want to do, and the president is looking at. So it is not lost, on the president and his team that this needs to happen, and things are being put in place. And you'll hear announcements soon about what is being done, but things are being put in place. Because we want to see the stadium full again. I remember the days when you couldn't get a ticket to go watch a match. That's what we want.
Yeah. Yes,
You know,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, man. That's where we definitely would want the football to reach back, because I mean, even qualifying for the World Cup, it is going to be in this region, and it would be a very huge thing if we qualify for the World Cup in this region. All right, Tuffy Rudy, if given the job, would you be comfortable making or suggesting changes if necessary? The biggest problem seems to be the traveling. Are you willing to make changes or fix, knowing they are your colleagues?
yeah, man. Changes are being made already, as I told you, And one thing about me, and the president will tell. The president said publicly already that um, I curse with them all the while. I mean, I'm not someone who, if I'm uncomfortable with something, I'm going to say it, and people know. And I'm not the biggest diplomat all the time, but we have our differences, and changes have come about because of those differences. We curse all the time about the things. So when we're going to a board meeting, the board meeting is not a rosy thing. We have strong people from the parishes with different opinions. I myself, I also my finance committee members, who we have people like Alan Lewis from Jane, who is on the finance committee, Nikisha Yulett, who is at hardware and lumber. We have, Garcho, the professionals who are out there, and I have to represent to them, and they raise certain issues. I raise certain issues. The traveling, a lot of people talk about the traveling. Definitely, I mean, we are putting things in place to ensure that we have greater control on it. It is the biggest expense that we face, because we have to be talking about a team to support the players also. So in addition to traveling with 18 or 20 players, you're talking about a team also of maybe 12 persons, from the physio and everybody that has to go with that team. So it's a big expense. We recognize it's the biggest expense we have, and we're going to put what we need to put in place to deal with it. And we have been doing that. As I said, the president has put in place for the past few weeks a meeting every week to address those issues. We had some issues with FIFA, and we're fully up to date now. As I said, we have our audited accounts fully up to date. Those are the things that we use as control. I am the finance committee chair, so I don't see a lot of all the details internally now. If I am GenSec, obviously I will see that. And as I said, what people can rest assured with is that the most important thing to me is my integrity. I remember when I was on the Betting Game and Lotteries Commission, the chairman at the time, who was Gordon Robinson, said, guys, before we do anything wrong or taking a bribe, which one of the things was that we never even accepted a gift, right? Not even a pen from anyone. He said we'd go back to eating bun and cheese for the rest of our lives. And I don't have a problem with eating bun and cheese and patty. That's me, but I will not compromise my integrity. I would never do that. I recall at NSWMA, some people coming to meet with me and the ED, and immediately on coming in, they gave me a box with a gift in there. And I just, in front of them, I turned it over to the ED and said, take this for me, right? I didn't even want to know what is in there, because one thing about me, right, is that I must sleep good at night, and nobody must have anything to question my name. I know that nobody must be talking about me doing anything incorrect. That is my personal thing. My integrity
Yeah.
is everything to me, So I'm going to make sure if I see something wrong. I'm not saying that I can't be in an organization and something is happening, but once I find out about it, I have to deal with it because I don't know when my time will come, and I don't want later on in life people say to my children, "Boy, but your father was like this." No,
Mm-hmm.
my the greatest gift that my father gave me, and my uncle reminded me about it a few weeks ago when we were having lunch, is that he passed on the true meaning of integrity to all of his children, and I would be betraying his memory if I was to do otherwise, and that's just how I operate.
So that is a legacy that you have to keep, and that is a word that the people of Jamaica will hold you to, Sir Chuck. And that's a tough one. And when you are an individual with that sort of integrity, then it will definitely come as easy as one, two, three. All right, this person, Roderick Sharp, is asking if there's any corporate sponsorship for the Reggae Boys and Girls for the upcoming events, practice game, and World Cup games.
But I know that is being worked on. We do have a few sponsors for various things that have been coming forward. As so, what is happening really, I'm not in that Gen Sec seat, so I don't have full oversight of everything. But I know that the
Mm-hmm.
president has been working on that. And I expect that, with the positive news that has been coming out, for us, I don't see that it should be a difficulty, but I know he has been working on that. If the board finds favor for me, um, with the board meeting coming up, then I will have oversight of that, and those are things that will work on, definitely.
All right. Mega favor 123. Is there a policy in place that governs leaking of sensitive information to the public?
There is an ethics policy in place, as I understand, and I know that sensitive information is leaked. For example, I mean, in this situation now, when I was surprised when someone called me and said, "Boy, I hear that you're being considered for sorry. I hear that you're being going in as Gensec." I mean, you know how surprised I was when I got the call, you know and I know that sensitive information is being leaked, occasionally, and that has been one of the issues that we face. The truth is that it happens with many organizations. The reason why it is a bigger issue is because of how people love football. It make the news, but there is a policy in place. If persons are found out, there can be sanctions. And the truth is that, what we do is we try to appeal to people's conscience, because you really, if you're leaking sensitive information, you really compromise in terms of your own professional ethics, your personal ethics,
Yes.
and people just shouldn't do that. You must know, you must, I don't know. For me, the
But,
type
but
of
but what
person I
about the
am is
right to
I
information?
well, the right to information is there now, but that information should be authorized for release by the board. So,
Okay.
in other words, we know that the audited financial is finished. Once it goes through the HM, then you can release it. There are certain things we can authorize, but when you're looking at pending things that have not been decided yet, things that can cause an issue, those things you want people to be professional,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to run and talk to everybody about it.
Right.
And for me, I don't know, I couldn't do it. You just need to do the right thing. And as adults, we know what the right thing is many times, and
Right.
we know when we're doing the wrong thing, right? So
Absolutely.
the biggest policy for me is that people must just, be professional with what they do.
All right. Another question from RDD. Why isn't Craig Butler, who is your friend, a part of the JFF executive? And is there a role for him in Jamaican football at the senior level?
You know, um, I just don't think that there has been a connection made, but I know that Craig has spoken to the president on many occasions. He has spoken to me also. I don't have that right to say, if he's in or not. But I don't think that there's any closed door. I worked with Craig, as I said. I think Craig is an excellent coach. I worked with him, and we won the Casafa. We came second in Casafa under 13 together. Um, I don't think there's any closed door. I mean, but we make appointments based on the circumstance at the time. I would think that that's what's done. Um, and I don't know that. I don't know. Some people suggest personality issues. I don't know about that. But I don't see where there should be a difficulty. That's handled by the technical committee. On the speed. So I don't see why that would be an issue though. As to at the senior level, I don't know. I mean, the senior level in terms of the coaching now is handled by the coach. What a lot of people fail to understand, and we odds to point out, is that the JFF administration and board does not get involved in matters relating to coaching and player selection and that sort of thing, right? We hold the coach accountable for the accountability of the team, and therefore we give him the authority to do what he wants. So if he says to us, hey, I want this person to work with, the only thing we say is how much is it going to cost? And we try everything to give them the situation. And that has always been the situation from I've been on the board. I know that people have been saying that there was some influence in terms of when the former coach was there. There was never any influence. I know personally that, when things were requested, the board gave everything that was asked for, to the point where me as finance committee chairman, I would say to them, guys, this thing costing so much money, you can't afford to do it. And the president would say, listen, the coach said he wants this, and it will be signed off, right? And then we go and find the money where we can, right? But we don't get involved in that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. What area in the JFF admin board you deemed inept and would change if you're appointed the position of the presidency?
Yeah, but no,
I think this person is
wrong.
he's stepping it up a little bit. But
but that's not me.
But in a nutshell, the first part of the question, any part of the JFF admin you deem inept, and if you are a part of the thrust going forward in terms of the GenSec, what change would you make? Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I can't sit here and say that this is going to happen or that's not going to happen, because I'm not there. I mean, obviously, you have to do your research. You have to ensure that you make the right decisions. As I always say to people, when you before you make a decision on something, especially when you don't have facts, especially when it's an emotional thing, it's always best to sleep first. So sleep first for me is do your work and find out what is happening. I'm an accountant, right? I don't make decisions based on what people say, right? I make decisions based on what the facts are and what I see, what is corroborated with evidence. That's how we work. So I can't, being in the position I am, I can speak to financial issues right now. As to the other things, I couldn't speak to them. And as I said, there are some changes that the president has already made, and we've seen of that already. But I always appeal to people. Remember, when somebody says something to you, it's something that someone feel coming from their emotions. Always try and find out what the other side is. I want you to do that, because if I were to say, boy, we need to change this, that, then you really should question me, because then I'll be just speaking based on anecdotal evidence. That's not what we want. We want information and decisions based on facts, right? And that is what we'll have to do. So I couldn't speak to that now, but what I can guarantee is that if we see things there that are a problem, we're going to fix it. That is what I can guarantee. I'm going to fix it as soon as we see it.
All right. So Mark Olan is saying, given the travel history of the past and the current squad, is there any consideration of investing in an airplane or jet? That's a big one.
Mark, let me tell you something. For my sins, one of the things that I had done, I was the one who actually managed the divestment of Air Jamaica. Right? And there are two things in life you don't want to own. You don't want to own an airplane and you don't want to own a boat.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh gosh, man. The cost and those things will kill you. Right? Investing in an airplane is not just having the airplane sitting on the tarmac. You have to do maintenance, which is regulated, that certain things need to be done, right? You have to invest in pilots and all of that. You don't do that. So I don't see that right now that there is any hope that we're going to be investing in an airplane or a jet. It's much cheaper to just charter a flight and go somewhere, right? And we don't do enough traveling to want to do that. And remember the other thing, is that even though we do a lot of traveling, people are coming from all over the world. So it's not like you're in one location and everybody moving together. People are coming from Europe. People are coming from Russia. We have one person there, Shamar, comes from there. People are coming from Jamaica, from the USA. So that would not be a feasible thing for us to do.
All right. So Rob Smith, the hard-hitting commentator, he's saying, with all that said about integrity, what happened with Hall and the one signature contract?
Hall and the one signature contract, or Paul Hall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. When I commented on it, and what happened with that situation is that we paid up based on the contract that we had, the duly executed contract that we had internally. When the issue came up that there might be an amount of money, more money than what we had on the contract signed by both Hall and the JFF internally, which we paid on, we had received a contract from Paul Hall with a high amount, but that had one signature on it. So what we said is that we can't pay on that. So that's integrity for you. That we said, listen, no, we can't honor that because what we have in place is the one with the two signatures. And that is what we honored. And I made it very clear that we are not in a position to honor anything else. If there is something else that we don't have and it is dated after the one that we have, then fine. We will honor it, but we haven't seen that yet. And therefore we have honored the ones that we have duly signed.
So that's the clarity, people, on this one signature thing. So you have heard it. That brings a lot of clarification. All right, Kyle Wallace, big up yourself. He has dropped a huge super chat on the board, $400. Mr. Chung, there's a video online at the Reggae Boyz Supporters Club that allege the Reggae Boyz trademark belongs to B2 Sports. Your lawsuit that you alluded awaits this entity if the research done by the diaspora lawyer is found to be true. Please watch, and we await your follow-up on the status, or status if you call it, of the lawsuit.
Yeah, but I didn't say that a lawsuit is in place. I said that, we should pursue lawsuits if we find that people are using our trademarks unauthorized. And certainly I would expect that is what the JFF should do to protect the interest, because the trademark is really the interest of the Jamaican people and we should protect it. One of the things about social media is that anybody can put up any video and say anything. But as I said, we can't act based on a video that's online. We have to be very responsible in our actions. If something comes to our attention, of course, our lawyer should look into it, right? And say, well, is there any truth in this, right? And it's not from a video that someone said the person owns it, but if we see evidence of persons using the trademark, right, without authorization, then at that point you act, but not based on a video or someone saying something online. Social media is entertainment, as far as I'm concerned. So you have to be responsible with how you act when you get information.
So let me ask you this: you are aware of B2 Sports, right?
I have heard the name B2 Sports. Yeah.
Okay, and I listened to you keenly in terms of what you said about authorization. So can I ask the question: is B2 Sports given authorization to use the
Not that
Reggae
not
Boyz?
that's not my that's not I don't know about it. I mean, it's something
Mm-hmm.
that we'd have to look into, but I couldn't comment on that. I don't know about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we can move on from that then. All right. So Kyle Wallace super chat will remain. That's a huge one. All right. Toffee Rudy is saying, if given the job, are there any plans in place for proper recruitment and helping with documents? That's for persons coming in, players. Will you be open for volunteers to
I
forward
did
possible? You said
volunteers to do
something?
what? Yeah.
To
What you're saying, I
forward
didn't hear
possible
you.
overseas players one direct source in the JFF. So the second part of the question
I
is,
don't
will you be
understand it.
open? Let me put it on the screen and then I'll bring back that up. There
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Um, yeah, recruit helping with documents. Which documents is that?
I guess you're
I,
talking citizenship and passport.
um, I don't really understand the question. So I couldn't.
All right. Basically, what
Um,
let me try to um rearrange what Toffee Rudy is saying. I think he's asking if there's gonna be any proper setup for recruiting players. And when these players are recruited, is there gonna be an avenue that there can be an expeditious plan or plan of action where their passport is concerned?
well, there is a process now for recruiting players, and the coach looks around, look at all who he thinks is eligible worldwide, and he has been doing that, and he chooses players based on that. I mean, I don't think that we can say that there might not be one or two persons that are missed, but that's the best I can do. That's what's done internationally. You
Mm-hmm.
go out and you scout, and that's the coach's job, in terms of looking about the documentation and everything. We have a manager for the team in place, Roy Simpson. He addresses all of those things and works with the secretariat with that. So we have a process in place for it, and what we need to ensure is that it works properly. That is what we need to ensure, and enhance it as much as possible.
All right. Is there a plan to improve merchandising on a local level in the parishes for the fans to access?
I think the president has all of that in his sights. So I couldn't comment on it. As I said, I'm not privy to all of that, but I know that he has all that in his insight in terms of merchandising internationally and locally to address those things. Because we recognize the brand and we haven't been using the brand well enough. So all of that is going to happen.
All right. Let me see. I'm checking if there's any more question. All right. Mr. Chung referred to the position as the hot seat. So why wouldn't he have an answer to ineptitude? That is from Vibing for You. It's a question.
But I wouldn't have an answer for ineptitude. I think I answered that and say I can't speak to that right now because number one, I'm not there in the seat, and number two is that you can't. You have to have evidence of it. So it can't be that somebody said, "Boy, this is a problem," and then you just run with it, and like it to many people, they what they do is go into a saloon and shoot and then ask questions. You have to ask questions first, and find all of that out. And anybody who does it the other way is going to have problems, and that's the only way to be fair, to be objective, is to act based on information that you've researched and facts, and no other way.
All right. I think he answered that question. Um, Persons are going back to the Paul Hall situation. So they are asking if Paul Hall created his own contract with the one
No,
signature.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It could possibly be that he had one that was agreed, but then not properly signed. And all we ask is the evidence of it, but we can only pay on what is properly signed. I would never say that. I'm sure that there's some reason for it. And what we're doing is looking for, anything that is properly signed off to do that. But no, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that at all.
All right. So I hope that question was answered, Rob Smith. Let me find, where can fans and tourists purchase kits in the future on the island? Airport, kiosk, etc. Are there any plans in place to
I think that,
improve that?
but as I say, I couldn't speak to where right now, but all of those things would come out in the wash, when the proper infrastructure is put in place. And it is being done now. So, when it happens, I'm sure that all of that will be advertised as to, where the purchases can happen, including online. Let's not rule that out, because that's one thing that the president is looking at. How can we set up an electronic store? You know,
All right. Dwight is asking, has a new U17 coach and coaching staff been identified?
I'm not sure. That is under speed, Rodal speed. So I'm not sure that has been done as yet. I don't know.
All right. Kyle Wallace is still looking into this matter. He's saying the only social media the diaspora lawyer presented his findings was on vloggers such as Coach's Desk, which is this channel, and it was well researched with presented documents. So he's saying, please have the JFF lawyers look into it, because from what we have learned is that B2 Sports is allegedly responsible persons for the logo. All right. So
Yeah.
Kyle
Well, I
Wallace
mean, I will raise it with. Yeah. I will raise it with has been brought up, and see what comes out of it. But that's all I can do right now. Because I never really heard about that situation before. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it seems that like Kyle Wallace, Mr. Chung, is oblivious to the fact of the matter with the logo. So he says that he'll be, well, you heard. Any more questions coming in from the comment section? We have had Mr. Chung on for over 1 hour now. Any more questions? Anthony Hutchinson said, people need to be realistic. How can Paul Hall have a contract with his signature only and expect compliance? Without the other signature, it is not a contract. And some good reviews coming through, Mr. Chung, is that you are impressive, and many persons are saying that if you were to assume the role of the GenSec, then they believe that it would be a new day dawn for the Jamaica Football Federation.
Well, I thank them for that
Um,
confidence.
all right. All right. I have commended the JFF on paying the players the day of the match. Will this be the system going forward, both girls and boys? Hopefully, that's the plan.
Yeah, man, that's
Is that the
definitely
case?
what we want. We definitely want to maintain that going forward. I mean, that's one of the things that we've been discussing definitely about doing all of that going forward. So definitely. And I see someone asking which school is better, JFF
Yeah, I
or
was just
Calabar.
getting to
And obviously it's Jamaica College.
that.
I mean that's a question that don't even need an answer.
So that was a rhetorical question. He knows the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, man, he knows the answer.
So brain drain, you hurt yourself again. You know, he's one of our AI in this form. You know,
Yeah.
a special person or a special AI. So brain drain, there you have it. You have been dismissed again.
In
Not
fact,
Calabar.
I tell people that the other institutions or daycare centers is only one school really in Jamaica, which is Jamaica College. So,
Well, other people have things to say about that, but
yeah.
you're on the panel, so we're not gonna treat it too badly there. All right, Dwayne, big up yourself, Dwayne. Thanks for tuning in. Dwayne is asking, what are your views on Craig Butler's position that there are conflicts of interest in the JFF, mainly with the position of Mr. Rudolph Speed?
That's not something that I can comment on, as to whether there's a conflict. What I speak about my own situation, and one of the things that I was asked is, if I were to take out a position as GenSec, what would happen with the finance committee? And obviously, I would see that as a conflict, and I would give it up. And I've already had the discussion with the president about that. So, but I don't know about that other conflict that's been spoken about, so I couldn't comment on it. And as I said, I don't like to comment on things unless I have facts about them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Somebody is saying based on this conversation, you're not going to be the GenSec. The JFF will be back on on the gallows.
They're making some
I
good
tell you.
strides, man.
Yeah, man. From your observation, is there any truth? Oh, Dwayne is asking a question again. From your observation, is there any truth to Craig Butler believe that his boys are getting a fight in terms of representing the national team?
That's a question for the coach. I don't see any evidence of it, but that's a question for the coach. And Craig talked to me about it all the while, and I know Craig long time, so we have our shouting matches all the while. And Craig is a strong person, but I don't see any evidence of that, and that's an issue for the coach to deal with.
All right. Will female football receive greater funding going forward, given that they have reached the most World Cups?
Well, we do have funds available for women's development. Speed would have been talking about it recently, that there's a special fund coming from FIFA which we're using to fund the women's league and start it. At the end of the day, the funding comes down to the interest. I think there's more interest being shown in women's football. But funny enough, and it's a matter that came up in the US also. Even though the women do so well, and the women in the US did so well, much better than the men's team,
Mm-hmm.
people have a tendency to prefer to go and see men's matches,
True.
Yeah, and that's just it. The fact of the matter is that the money follows and the sponsorship follows where the crowd goes. So
That's
if
true.
we want to see see more funding and sponsorship following women's. We need to go out and we need to let sponsors see the interest. They will fund it. So that's why I talk about, you know, many times a lot of the ball rests with us personally. If we go out and we support the women's team and show, the crowd support and everything, trust me, I guarantee you sponsors will come in because that's how they sell their products.
Definitely. All right, Triple E. Good night. He's saying to you, Sir Chung, what can you tell us about Mr. Ricketts? Based on your position in the JFF, it is clear that he's willing to listen, which is a quality of a good leader.
Yeah, man, he does listen. He does listen. My experience with him, he listens. And as I said, all of these changes that have been happening is because he's listening. People advise him, from the technical point of view, from the finance point of view, and we say, hey, Prezi, we need to do so and so. And he does listen. So I don't have a difficulty there. And if he didn't listen, then the truth is that people like myself and Speed would not be there, if we had that situation.
All right. Is the JFF respective to former professional footballer in administrative roles?
If the JFF is what?
Respective to former professional footballer in administrative roles.
You mean if they have any issue with that?
Yeah.
I figure that's what they're asking. I don't think so. I mean, I think that administrative roles should be for people who are good administrators. I always say that a good teacher does not necessarily make a good principal. So we have to define the quality. Of course, the experience, the technical experience is also good, but you can also surround a good administrator with good people, good technical people. I've seen it done at very many other organizations and it worked very well. But you can have a good teacher as a principal, and the teaching side is very well, but the administrative side doing the well.
Yeah.
So I think you have to look at the current situation you're in and what are the skill sets that you need and match up those skill sets with what you can get.
All right, fair enough. By the way, Sir Chung, your team played today or it will be playing tomorrow? EPL.
My team, I don't really have a team, to be honest with you. I mean, if I was to say that there's a team that I've long supported in EPL, it would be Man U, Manchester United. But for me, I've always more supported players, right? Because I love watching a good football game. Even if my side lose, I want to see a good football game, right? And my player has always been Ronaldo. I mean, in recent times, and before that, there are other players. I love a midfield general and someone who can make things work, which is why with a Man U, for example, one of my favorite players was Paul Scholes. I love Glenn Hoddle. Even on the current Jamaica side, my baller is Ravel Morrison.
You can't go wrong.
I like to see that type of. Yeah. Nice. But I told him that when I saw him, I said, Ravel, boy, you're my baller. Because, I just love to see him hold the ball, slow it down, and it reminds me of a Glenn Hoddle or a Peter Cargill. That's the sort of player he is, and that's the player that makes a difference in a team, and not to discount the other players, but it's just the type of football I love to see. And therefore I follow players. I love to see good players.
All right, cool. So Dwight, don't get it twisted, Dwight. Not because Mr. Chung mentioned Manu, you're gonna talk about loser of the massive. Come on, man. Put some respect for Manu name. In terms of the game tomorrow, there's a big game coming up. Liverpool versus Arsenal. Which team you think will be winning that one?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I mean, I think both teams can actually walk away with it. It depends on how the players show up, because that's always important. How the players show up on the day
Mm-hmm.
is important. Um, so Arsenal has been playing well. You know, Liverpool has been holding their own, and any one of them can walk away with it. To be
All
honest with
right.
you, because the way football is, I mean, it is like a scientific thing now. I mean, if you play someone in an incorrect position, you have a different game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so any one of them can walk out with it. I just love enjoy the game. I just love see a good game play. So
All
for
right.
me, you know,
For you, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
for me, it really don't matter who winning as long as the game good and you can see quality play. That's what I love to see.
All right. Cool.
Mm.
All right. With the new acquisition of the coaching staff, technical team, um, we have a World Cup campaign coming up in short order. What do you say? What are your thoughts on us making this World Cup this time around?
You mean 2026?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, we're definitely making it, man. I mean, that's how we're putting everything in place to make it. So I love that the thing into reality now. We're going there. We have to have that commitment. I mean, if we were to have doubts about it, it don't make no sense to do it.
Right.
So
Okay.
we need to say yes, we're going there, and then we figure out how we're going to get there. But we're
All
definitely
right.
going there.
All right. Cool. We still have a few more questions coming in. Why were you so silent about what's happening with our football until now? Are you the type who prefer to work in the shadows?
I'm a technical person. I like to work in the background. But the other thing is that, I'm not someone who's going to come out and speak unauthorized. And when you see myself and come out and speak, it's because the president has asked us to speak. I believe that there must be protocol in terms of how things are dealt with. And, the person who makes the decision on who engages with the media as the president.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's what I follow.
All right. So I guess you can encourage him to come to be more visible on these sort of platforms, because it's all good and dandy when the finance committee comes, the member of the technical committee comes, but it goes into high gear when we have the man himself, the president, coming in. So probably you can encourage him to visit these platforms um more often.
Yeah,
It doesn't have
man.
to be a regular thing,
Definitely.
but more often, so that this
Yeah,
is
man.
where all the
Definitely,
funds
I'll
are,
speak to him. I'll, I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
man. This
always
is where
encourage him to do that.
this is where all the funds are.
Yeah.
They and trust me, you get the questions left, right, and center. You get suggestions. You have lawyers, doctors, all
Yeah.
sort of people on these forums. You know what I mean? So this is a place where we come and we
Yeah.
talk football, and there are some very, very useful information on these platforms. You know what I mean? So you can encourage him to come around. And with the new
Yeah, man.
development and where the federation is going, I think the people will be a little bit more welcoming. So
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
encourage him.
Yeah.
All right. Dwayne is saying again. Dwayne, look at Dwayne just reached one. He has a lot of questions. In your humble view, what about the JFF administration that has disappointed you the most? And how do you believe it should have been handled?
Um, I think that the fact that we haven't really engaged with the publics, has been maybe the most disappointing thing. But everything has come now. So I don't want to look to what has happened. I think we need to look forward now. We're here now. So let's look forward. I think that's the important thing for us to do. So I don't want, I wouldn't want to dwell on that and what the situations were. I mean, as I said, we have our disagreements internally, but this is where we are now, and we're going to move forward now. And that's what I'll say to that.
All right. And big ups are in order for the person who managed the Instagram and Twitter page. You need to get a YouTube channel out there. So there's
Yeah,
information for the fans all over the world. There are a lot of people who watch these channels, and trust me, they are taken aback when it comes on to Jamaica football. They are so interested in the content, and it argues well if the JFF get their page up and running. You know what I mean? And I see Kyle Wallace sending the forum, the Reggae Boyz supportersclub.com. If you can just try and go on it to watch the video that he's talking about.
man.
So you can there's
Hmm.
it in the chat. Second to last
Yeah, man.
message.
Respect for that, Kyle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. So
yeah,
you can really see what he's talking about, and you can do your own little different, insight and question
yeah,
asking
yeah,
and so
yeah,
forth.
man.
All right, there be no more questions. There's about 29 minutes still to go on the show. Mr. Chung, you decide if you want to leave, yes or no. Because I think we'd have exhausted.
But if there's nothing else for me, then I'd go. I'm always available. You
All
know
right.
that. You know. The next thing is to wait and see what the board does. We might
Mm-hmm.
have something to talk about after that. But I'm always available. Once I have the time is not a problem. So I'll always be available to talk to people.
All right, certainly. So, people, we have to give Mr. Chung a big round of applause, respect, and thanks for showing up on these platforms, these forums, um, to have dialogue with the fans, and that is always critical. And like you said, you're always available. Possibly in the next few weeks, you'll be sitting in a new seat, and certainly we would want to re-engage you. Possible not when you just get the position, but just to see you working for a few, and then we can have another talk where that is concerned. So we wish you all the best if you decide to take that position, or if the board decides to trust
Yeah.
you with that office. We wish you all the best. You sound sound, you sound solid, you sound like a man of integrity, which you um boldly speak about in terms of your family legacy. So definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look forward to that. And thanks, everybody. I invite all questions, easy and hard, and I answer the best that I can.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You
And
know.
we appreciate that.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
man. All right. Respect everybody. All right.
All
Cool.
right,
Yeah.
cool. So, people, there you have it. There you have it. Very, very, very good conversation. Um, yeah, very, very good conversation. Believe that he said a lot of things. Some you have to decipher. Some was clear. The phone line is now open, people. 876-474-3538. You can certainly call in and let your voice be heard where this situation is concerned. We have about 20 odd minutes to go before we close the show, but you can take the time out and give us a call. I've also dropped the link. Yeah, man. I think it is moving in the right direction based on what Mr. Chung is saying, based on what we know that is happening in the federation. I think they mean well enough. But it's just that, as somebody said, I don't even want to repeat it. But maladministration, and as he admitted, there are some things there that certainly he's not pleased with. And I'm sure the whole entire body is not pleased with this traveling issue, passport issue for players, a whole lot of stuff. But we are happy that there seems to be a new thrust where the federation is concerned. They are working. They have a big sponsorship coming up. Yeah. Definitely. We await some of these things. Coach and Mr. Chung, thank you both for letting this opportunity to hear positive information, what's happening within the JFF. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, Triple E. Now that our guest is gone, coaches, I say again, don't spend the entire $400 on the Shelly. Hey, Rob Smith, I see you. You're bringing a real troublemaker. About Flipper Mafia, I would have give $1,000. Fire the communication press department. Let Mr. Chung deal with the media going forward. Coach have enough money, lateral. I tell you, big up yourself, Kyle Wallace, on the super chat. Definitely, I hope that Mr. Chung will copy the link or click on the link to go and watch that thing, because this seems to be conflicting information, or he's oblivious to what is happening. So, yeah, let's see. Brain Drain is saying, Coach, this is the move triggered by desperation. What move? What move, Brain Drain? Tell us. Dwight Spence, make you not apply for the job since you can do better. Hey, I want it. Travis, I like that when I hear your voice. Call in Travis. Call in Travis. I want to go there, you know what I mean? Words, First responder, big up yourself. I personally don't see the use of the bald eagle. Coach does a better job. Big up yourself, first responder. Michael Sadler, Mr. Chung, what plans are in place to address the state of football on the field? I'm gone, Michael. We never see that question there. JFF cannot afford me or pay me on time. All right. What works does the vice president do? I think, say, as I said, that information that they did was online and the website does disappear. Coach, if you get Mr. Ricketts on the show, you might need a record $1,000 super chat. All right, Tuffy. Coach, is the diaspora in other countries involved in the football program like our country, Jamaica? I am not sure, Travis. But what is wrong with the diaspora being involved? They are fans of the game. And the diaspora involved, are you talking about the players? Because the players would be a part of the diaspora. So what are you saying, Travis? No outside influence? Call in, Travis. Let us hear what you're saying. Hold on, let me check the phone, because we don't want man them a call and can't get through. Let me check the banger. It look like call come in, No, no call no come in. Let me check the banger to see. Hey, Rob Smith, man, I want you to behave yourself in a Rob Smith. You think you're easy. All right, we have Kyle. Kyle in the building. Kyle.
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Oh, go on. We're there,
Yeah, just calling to give my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good program. Nice to hear from Mr. Chung.
Yes.
But let me ask you a question. When is the next JFF election?
Is it next year or this year? In November.
November. Okay, cool. I think it's next year.
Next year?
Right, I think so. Next year, November. And the reason why I want to make that point is, it's a nice coincidence that all these JFF reps are doing the vloggers rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that the elections are coming up.
Right.
Right? Very, very nice coincidence. My question is, why weren't they media friendly from the get-go?
Yeah, somebody asked that question. I think Dwayne asked that question.
Right. Because to be honest, listening to them, I can, and you know me, I'm very hard on the JFF. To me, it seems as if they care and they want to do the right thing.
Hold on. Travis, the number is at the base of the screen there. 876-474-3538. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems as if they want to do the right thing. And they're slowly figuring out how to do the right thing. Granted, it's better late than never. You know what I mean? But I had to bring up that issue with the trademark. Because it's baffling to me. Because I think I heard Mr. Speed was on a program also, and he was asked about it, and he basically played ignorance, that he doesn't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? But it's baffling to me, given the research that we have seen, that nobody knows the status of your trademark. You have a program, you have a logo on your program. Technically, that is your trademark. You know that, and you know who owns it, and you know what is being done with it. So for when you have these secretaries and these vice presidents coming up and played ignorance, I don't know, or I will get back to you. Come on. I mean, you're doing contracts with these people. This is baffling to me. Anyway. It's a good step, I like what I'm hearing from the JFF. I won't lie to you, but action speaks louder than words, and we all should keep it in context. In that there is an election that's coming up, so we are going to see their best side. Simple as that. As the old saying goes, they come around to get our votes, and as soon as they get it, they're gone. So be wary.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Be wary, and when you bring them on the program, coach, you ask them plainly like that. Are you on here, seeking votes, and will we see you after when the votes have been casted? If you win, ask them bluntly. Tell them that the supporters want to know, because we are dying for information from the JFF, and nothing beats hearing that information from the horse's mouth. Nothing beats when you have them on the program and they are telling us exactly what's going on. And to be honest, Mr. Chung, he's a media man. Granted, he wasn't trained as a journalist, but he knows the common sense concept as to how to, be business friendly with your customers. You have to meet them, you have to talk to them, you have to explain things to them, and you even have to tell them things that they don't want to hear. Which is how you go about telling them. And I think that has been missing from the JFF, where they basically were dismissive of the fans, and other entities, and they don't know how to, explain themselves. And that goes a far way. Talking about, starting up a GoFundMe thing. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. But why would you start up a GoFundMe thing to take your money to invest in an entity that basically dismisses you, doesn't want to talk to you? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't want your input. Come on. I mean, they need to give us something more tangible. Show us that you're going to open up the voting process. Show us that you're going to be publishing annual audits. Not just now, but annual audits. Put it in your constitution. That these are the things that you are going to do so that the public can gain confidence in you, that you are transparent. These are the things that we need. So if you're going to run for the presidency, don't just come on your programs and give us sugar talk. Come on your program with a platform, with a manifesto as to what you're going to do, so we can believe in you. This is what we want. We don't want a sugar mount. You know what I'm saying? We want tangible things that we can look to and say, you know what, these guys are really making an effort. Simple as that.
Yes, certainly.
All right, Coach Magan. And to the viewers, this is the place to be, the coach's desk. All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself. I have a video that I want to show the people. Let me see if I can get this video up. Big up yourself, Kyle Wallace. General, you know. Man, drop a record from coach's desk. $400 in one go. The man, I say, boy, I have to spend it wisely. Don't spend it on Shelly. Rob Smith. So there has been some new installation of lighting at the UE Captain Horace Burrell Training Center, and the first training session is underway, and that is the FIFA MA referees training session. That is what is taking place there. You know what I mean? So I want to show you what is happening there. Give me a few seconds there, people. Trying to get that video up for you so that you can see what's happening up at the Captain Horace Burrell Center of Excellence. Being your money done, you can't match Kyle Wallace. So the man is saying clean slate. The JFF is now on a different path. Vloggers have been less disrespectful recently, and the JFF are showing them good faith. But if you hear the question I ask Mr. Chung, you know, if the JFF have a problem with the bashing and the flogging that they have been getting from these platforms, he said he doesn't know really, but he believes that it is useful, it is needed, and he believes that it is necessary. But for me, as long as it's not done in a disrespectful manner, then, you know, so your voice can be heard without being disrespectful, the man. So we I don't think, I don't know the vloggers being less disrespectful, or have we been disrespectful? Mr. The brain drain money done. Carl made brain drain look like a welfare case. And a brain drain was the man, you know. I tell you, we don't want no JFF people talking sweet like politicians. We used to it. Too many promises isn't good. And that's why we are the persons that are going to be holding them accountable, the man. You understand? We are the persons that are going to be holding them responsible. You understand? So when they come and they say these things, we have the digital record. The digital library is here, meaning the channels. So if we want to find out something we don't remember, we come back and we watch this 1.5 hour video. You understand? And remind people what was said. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain, Lanezra, that we are not disrespectful. We just talk it as is. You understand? And we are the persons that have been ensuring that the JFF has been accountable. Accountability. So big up to all the vloggers. Big up. You have been doing a tremendous job. Keep on doing what you're doing. The JFF did not say that they have a problem with what the vloggers are doing. And it's possibly only highlighting some of the positives that the JFF have been doing. So something like this now, the the referee situation where they are training referees, it is a good thing. And I'm going to be highlighting it. Big things happening up at Captain Horace Boyle Center. Exactly. We have no vote. We have no vote, Mr. Sadler. That is correct. So I don't know why people think that we have vote. All right, look at me. I've got to do this another way. Drop it on coach's desk. Keep the thing anonymous. Coming up with that video, people. Don't worry, we're coming up with that video. Wait there. It's loading. We have a voice, influence, and ability to purchase tickets, of course. But is all this just politics, coach? We could look at it that way, no? Of course, we could look at it that way. But how would it be politics? Like Michael Sadler is saying that we don't have any votes. So it's not like they're coming to somebody who can give them vote. You understand? There's no vote over on this side. You understand? So it could never, it could be political, but when you look at the intricacies of it, then it might not be. All right, let me play the video. Hold on. Hold on. We're there, here, man.
Well, miss out for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah. Turn on the background, man.
What's going on?
Huh?
You're not going.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
You guys not here. Go on football, man. Oh, we missed things, man.
Where's the Chevis? Go on now.
You say, well, go on. Now, football land since a lot of things you see are going on.
Yeah, man, a whole heap of things change, man. New coach, new people are coming.
Yeah, I know, man. I see that, man. Yeah, man, come watch Argentina game, but I was disappointed with the players. Or them, I said, like, them, I go on, like, say, them, I'm messing a friend. You deal with them something after a game, brother. You have to be professional, man. A true man, I said, man, a world. For me, you know, coach, I was very disappointed. I mean, I like Argentina, no time. No time. I tell you that. You see me, I say, Messi a good player, yes, but you deal with them when game finish, brother. So man, I play like they don't want to tackle him, man, like them in the the man. You're very disappointed, man. I was watching the game at Premier regular spot. A QQ Sports Bar. I mean, I tell you, say, plays are the same thing everybody has said. Players, them, and when game done, they saw him, man, them have swarming, man, them autograph. No, man, a group, you think them, brother, man.
Okay.
Man, in a group. Yeah, I mean, I say a man can ask you an autograph, yes, but come on, we have social media now, people take it differently. Maybe it's not like that. Because maybe it's a once in a lifetime opportunity still, but apart from that, the coach, you can't say coach have plans. Not for the local man, they won't get left. Yeah, come hear that from a good source, and not for them won't get left. No, ain't a problem. Because it's a coach who want to pick the best players and play for the team. And that's what we want. So if you're local and you want to be the best, you game have to be on top.
Yeah.
To get picked. And so I look funny. So I look funny. Because the team wants to play for Jamaica at all times.
Yes.
But with a man like Mr. Chung and come on board, win-win for Jamaica football. The man have integrity, class, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man they come with a different countries. The man they shy away from media. They hide things. The man they tell you up front. Listen to the man they speak.
Yeah.
You see what I say? Because the man they want good for football, just like all of us. Whatever on this.
Yeah, man. That's so it's so like
but,
it
but
so
yeah,
far.
yeah. We don't really like female football, but we will go to the match next month.
Yeah, man, you have to go represent down
Yeah,
Western,
man.
man.
Yeah, man. I'll go back. I'm my brethren. We drive bus, we always got to stadium a match. So we just make a link and just go through the regular crew. We always got to stadium. So we watch the girls, man, see what can go on.
Yeah, man.
Give them a
have to support the girls, them, man.
Yeah, man. But World Cup and all still, Liverpool are my team, but we'll deal with Arsenal too much. Arsenal fans, them too hype. They don't remember say they were beating stick, whether home or away. They forgot. So they don't fly on their head. True, we not play well, and them they get a little farm. I turn around the season tomorrow morning. We'll deal with them, man. And then get too bright. So my Arsenal fans, them don't like me can't talk to them again. Man, them say we're dead before even ball kick. Yeah, but the next thing, the World Cup, we don't know about no other team, but the World Cup against Brazil. So if you're the next 31 team, the World Cup against Brazil. So next month, make sure me I put 20,000 for Brazil. I just bet for early.
Hey, you know, ramping up. You're not left with that part right there,
Yeah.
man. Go save your money, man. Go save your money.
I said, coach, I just bet give me enough things, man. So I have to invest back some of my money for my team, Brazil. So I say, yeah, man, from 20 years on, we don't win the World Cup, man. So full time, I know. Because for the team, we don't see no team of attack what we have right now. None of them. Because when I look for England, the coach will be there in downfall because the coach in favor of someone when I play good for the club. Because Diane, man, Ray Trent, Ray Madison. Because Trent might get a game now because I mean, like, Kyle Walker out. Do surgery, so I'm out. But problem is, a trippy a film baller. So I'm going to use, because 3 back him will play. A team like England, if you play 3 back.
But I really England I talk about, brother. We don't want to hear about England, man.
No, man, it's not tell about somebody think true Raheem as a Jamaican, so we kind of really like them, true Raheim.
But if we are
yeah,
talking
about Raheem, we give Raheim a
Raheim. We don't talk about no England team.
Yeah, but you see me I say, because I said, and next thing again, me tell a long time in the coach say, Kyle Walker Peters, Tariq Mitchell, a trick, don't get trick them. I tell you that point that long time before it happened. And the same thing you do Ivan Tony. But you can't tell a man, force a man to do, a man must know what he want to do tonight.
Yeah, my full arm.
Yeah, you see me I say, exactly. So, but as me I tell a man say, anytime I like different than everybody, Tariq Mitchell and Kyle Walker Peters them. Now get no play, brother. Because Southgate now, Southgate just realize say, Jamaica half of them, so you know go cap them. So me man talk about Tony. Tony cannot do so well in England, and you have to give you that game. You can definitely go to Tony now got World Cup.
No, got World Cup. You don't get no game.
No, so you want to, and for me, I play still. I mean, I really rate Tony like that, but you want to supply him if you want to play for Jamaica. I play for England. I feel him, tries that. So I knock a man for that.
Yeah.
So I say, but all me man talk about Isaac Hayden. We don't want them man if you go on them now, man. Somebody younger, man.
It's a young
man.
midfielder want.
Yeah, man, when we don't want them man, a whole thing. See man running for Newcastle. Which team you know?
Me not too know.
You know about him, coach?
No, sir.
Exactly. Well, we are running about them, man. Better look for Lewis Baker, them younger youth than Jonathan Russell, young youth, when they say. When coach call one day. Every man have look towards 2026. Hate them for go. It's to me, I say, see my red man them too. We run left Southampton in Ghana, Besiktas. A Turkey. I wait for England. England, they all look for them, man. Come on, they way ahead of them. So when they look like man like Pinnock and Tony and them, man, they give up, then dream and come play for Jamaica. We have to big up them, man, there. Ravel and Bobby and all of them, you will come through. We have to big them up. Because then they have to come. Here, them, I can't tell you, say, them are all out for England, they're not ready now. But as they dream fail now, they want to come to Jamaica. We don't want them. In my opinion, I'm not busy about next man. We don't want them.
The man, what you talk about? The man say, Peso, they will never admit their foolishness. Let's move on and strive for better. Coach and most of them blogger would not mind if Smoddy get up every day and tell lie and spread rumors about them. I wouldn't mind. No, sir, of course I would mind.
No. I don't hear about that, coach, man. Somebody else say that. Somebody else think of you. You have some bloggers that mistake maker.
Well, on a man say coach and most of them blogger. That the man say, brother. You can't tell me that.
No, man, I know you that man. I wrong man about that. You're not that type of person.
Now that me I say. It's strange.
Yeah, you're not that type of person. But as we say, the football look like it. Because when we look for the Premier League, where you come and look, come see it. They might play most of the games, they might be better venue them. So yes. I go on next good look again. That too.
Yeah, so you know what the product that will be going out there would be very would be a
all
good
right.
look.
Week after when the league started 23rd. The other week I double it, I don't want Mobile 2, Mobile team I play. And you know, me have to do a game because my cousin play Mobile guy, play the Christoph Murray. Look out for him this season. 20-year-old striker. Can't look it down there now.
Yeah, man.
I'm not going to make up. Yeah, I'm not going to run an interview for him yet, you know, in person.
Yeah, man, if you go run an interview, man.
Yeah, man. As much as I bash him by my boy, I know Ducky guy. I know him from my co-star Cosmos and Jardy. We always have good chat when he come play arena and things. So, but if I understand, he cover the territory. You can't be a big coach and win nothing. Nobody no member second place. You have to win something for sure. And the next thing again, means that a Craig Butler fan still, but he might go and go to Mona, so I'll give him some props.
Yeah, man, Mona go on that look at thing, man. Even though
they say,
I want to look up what they call it, Robert go on what, Friday.
Oh, game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was some of it. But we never really are taking it like that. But to me, Mona, the defense looks suspect though.
No, but you have to give
defense looks suspect.
Even if the defense looks suspect, you still have to give credit to.
Yeah, they must score a goal. They must. Yeah, man. That's why I'm saying I give credit.
Camper down, you have to give Camper down play
very
good in our bridging. You have to give credit. So even if a suspect, Mona defense suspect, you have to give credit to Camper down to break down the suspect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because if we get beaten 9-1 and you can lose 4-3, a big improvement that. Yeah, man.
And the coach
my school. Yeah, my school are going well though, Froome, you know.
Froome are going well.
We are beat up people, yeah.
Yeah, man, my school are going well too.
5-6. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Second within.
But that client and my face, I think we will go.
Yeah, definitely. Clarence
is a
favorite, but you never know, you know. A team can show up.
Yeah, exactly. Funny day. But we never know some Malik Douglas left the team and play for Clarendon College.
Malik Douglas leave who?
Malachi Douglas left KC. And I played with Clarendon. Yeah, man, remember say he played with Capital Maroons, you know, so like Lenny. Like about 6 farming I do down there. Come and see him do interview other day.
Okay.
I think I came to the last year. So we see where we go. But you know, my team, for JP, like Arnett and Mobius team.
Mm-hmm.
My two teams.
All right. Yeah, we're
And the
looking
next thing,
for...
though,
Go on now.
we see what happened. Things a problem out down Mount Pleasant with more. Come here, a problem down there already.
Yeah.
Come in, try. Yeah, man, they want to terminate a player. Good friend of mine. And the owner said, no, I'm by him. So I'm stay.
Say that again.
Mm-hmm. I
Yes.
tell you, say, them they want to run with a player. Good friend of mine. Like they never want him. And the owner said, no, you have to stay, I'm by him. Yeah, man, so problem out down there. Tell you for I know, coach. Problem out down Mount Pleasant.
Well, it look like a Galactico them a bill.
Yeah, but the next thing though, them buy one we like, the players for them buy young players.
Young players, yeah.
Oh, that's a good look. Yeah. That's a good thing, but when I players when them buy, I don't rate him at all. I think to me when I worst defender in the league, get him most red card. Guy will say they don't me over there. Be push them man. That man one name shot in there. Be push them and push up. To me, no American price, still the captain. The two worst defender them. When they play against them, man, you just leave the care about one and push it on and kick it on and get the care.
Yeah.
So we see where we go. But we not hear about next thing, last thing go. Tyreek Simmons, what happened to him?
We don't know. We did a year so one move supposed to make for Club Brugge. But we don't know. He was celebrating birthday recently, so we just go and watch and see what go on.
Yeah. I don't know what go on with him to come here, same get on the hype side and all.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant money.
Well, it looks so. And the next thing again, you see how you like Nick deal, you know, you do 2 year.
Nick
Q Jamaica, brother. Nick Q daily. Come on, you. Daily. Come on, you. You come back here so far. You should try and find the next team.
So that's why he probably there back in can't find
other things go on to man.
Yeah, man get big and fat too, man. Hey, coaches, them young youth. Let me tell you them Jamaican young footballer them. Be a party and they don't take football serious. I tell you that, coach. They don't take football serious. Be a party and drinking business. They just play football to their talent. I tell you that. I've been around in a team with players over the years.
Yeah, man,
local players. They're not serious about football. I tell you that. They're not serious about football. Yeah, and every time they say people are fighting, they never fight themselves.
Are you bad, man?
Because money there to make money. Yeah, exactly. When they look at a player like Paris and them you they want good. Because them you they know so they come from poor background. And then have a talent they can make them rich off of football. But we say, we get for that. So,
all right, big up
yourself.
Yeah, man, big up
yourself. Yeah, man, every time.
All right.
Yo,
you know, say all know me not understand. CC, welcome. You're late still enough, but me I give you a few minutes. Me not understand what the man has said. The man said coach is making excuses, which means he agree that it is respectful. Oh, the comment to him did make. No, me not talk about. Anyways, not everything was respectful. If I were to qualify or clarify that. Yeah, but for the most part, not everything is disrespectful. Yeah, we just get what you say now, the man. We just get what you say. You're not talking a parable. Look, a long time that comment the guard, you know. That's why we never did have understand.
We should ask coach first now before we put up this, you know, because something that say me just need a remake. Sometimes say this the me just at all.
How about that?
You don't know, coach. You don't see it, man.
Worst thing that you ever met, Virgin. The man, hey, you if you step up his pace, man. Them thing they make your certification roll up. The thing for flat and spread out. And that's some big book. You see me I say? Right now.
You probably need to give the people them like plaque. I put it in a set
thing where you can put on your wall.
Yeah, man.
But I'm more you would have laminate it because you have to roll it up and push it the thing to roll up, bro. But I feel them strap still, isn't it? Nothing something they give you the other one. The other one me I work on, me get that one they know it going on. Gunners boss is a university.
At
Is a
the
university.
Pelican we say CC.
Yeah?
At the
Yeah,
Pelican
man,
we say.
Pelican straight, man.
Yeah, man, at the Pelicans we say,
Something
man.
the Gunners
Gunners
boss
boss are call and on up. Gunners boss. Welcome to the show.
Big up yourself, CC.
Big up.
CC, put the camera in the kitchen. Put the kitchen cover the CC. Big up yourself. we don't count everything when they put the dress already and know what. Put it in the cover. Don't put your one over kitchen there.
CC, don't make a man beat you up here, CC.
Now, man, I'm going to put it in the kitchen, man, because we know the kitchen and a cupboard, the man carry food in the kitchen, brother. The man have one thing out about them they call buttery.
At least, man, have food I eat.
At the tall thing, what they call it that Gunners boss. They look at the tall thing on the wall.
Why, you mean pantry?
They look at plate.
You mean pantry?
Man, you have another little tall thing.
Pantry at all?
Yeah, the pantry, yeah.
Pantry can't hold for your food, man. A battery outside. A battery have to build for your food plate. You know, see your head and you see your stick by your...
We say, a room off make.
You have to full for your head before you start. Go down a belly, you know, brother. So that you say you have a battery, you have outhouse to put your food in. Something big like it gets out of that back. Yo, anyway, coach.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the man that talk football this and football that now. One thing I tell some people say, you know, football now start back, you know. The football to get back to back in my days, you know. Disregard it. Me like a 2-year-old grandson there in the house, yeah. After any weekend, so then I get kind of nice with those stuff. Me have to talk with them now there, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, so me I say now the thing I have to get back from home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start by ball and them things and get a little youth. You have to start from home, reach out the street in the schools, in the community, and you have to bring back the love and people them, and your friend them. That pay on the money and got the match and want to buy some cool girls and some little thing and wear them so and stop all the foreign ball, EPL and them things that can build Jamaica pride in football, you know. Sure. Yeah. Because all the youth them out there sit down and watch it and dream about it. That's why we did so good back in our days because we never have no TV to watch no game live 3, 4, 5 games a day, so we never lazy. Just so we have to get up and go play and try to be like the man them we see on the TV when we do see them. Because once in a while we see them. So them things they happen now. Now they make you want to go play FIFA and say them are FIFA champion and that make them world champion so them can play for FIFA eat a food. So if you have what it takes to play FIFA eat a food, enough man now go to the play no more. You see it? And I like how me see when you see all of the leagues them, you know, and all of the games them where you see, you know, across the world we have improve and grow, you know. And because the people them start with the youth them from early. Embed it in them. You see, if you not start a youth from them 4, 5-year-old to play football, you can't take him up with them at 12-year-old and go, if that is like you try to bend the tree from it when it's full already, you know. So you have to break in the youth them from them young brother. That me I say, if we want to get back to that we have to do so. When we have molecular money and them thing, then we buy 2 ball and let some youth have 2 ball over here, so some youth have some ball. And all of them things that you know, because enough of the youth them would want to play ball, but them not even have places to go kick ball and the ball to go itself to go kick on it. And like in my days when we are roll up all some box juice box and the fear them square right them run, we kick them till them run. Grape fruit, orange, sometimes some young bread fruit that you kick them till them get sharp, you know. That's how we used to play ball, you know, in back in the days, you know, coach. Yeah, man. That's how we used to play ball back in the days. But you don't see nobody play ball to them levels then no more. Grandma come, Major. Auntie come. Yeah, man. So if the thing kind of changed now, you know. I think the passion lost because nobody want to play. Nobody don't want to play outside no more too much neither, you know, coach. More people want to stay inside of them house now and relax and depend on the social media thing. I'm good. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Enough man want. Sorry about that. Enough family coming in at the house. We get a little quiet.
Yeah. See, you have to talk quick, you know, because we have to close off the show in short order, you know. So you have to jump in a conversation.
Yeah.
See, listen and learn, you know.
I'll better make sure so I'm struggling team not kick out on the team tomorrow. I'll be watching, you know.
Oh. Then we not then you know how much else we take. and I not a coach means the attack on me.
I mean my talk is. All right, you my talk. Remember
Liverpool
are struggling team, you know.
Gonna lose to the Liverpool tomorrow. At time we lose a game now. So what? We not can drop a point now to R2. We can drop some point now and still content.
What that means? So no job points to Man U. Wanna job points to Liverpool.
Who you represent? Who you represent?
Chelsea, man. You see what go on to them, man.
Let me know who you represent so I can roast you too, sir.
Chelsea.
Oh,
yeah.
Chelsea is in anything or expect to do anything this year.
No, we're not an expectation. No, not that. Not this season.
Okay, then what are you talking about? I don't have no expectation to win the title. I know I'm finishing the top 4. So I'm not gonna sit here and say yes. I want to you know. I love when my team is up in and them not die from 2 games and 3 games like y'all. That's nothing 1 3 games. That is not what Gunners bad. What I do, I sit down and I watch how the games play up. And I want we to keep 1, 2, 3, and 4 points going and keep staying at the top of the table the last year. Put on the Arsenal. That's how we want it done. So when I feel we are going to get excited about nothing. We down these roads, man. It's not our first road. Right?
Yeah, support.
You have to talk to coach means, you know, if they get a 1 win, you know, it's coming like they win the league, they can't win nothing this year. Don't even see them like a poor this year coming like Leicester out the past,
Leicester lose today, brother.
And Brendan Rodgers still have a job. I understand.
Bournemouth defeated Leicester today. And tomorrow we're going to talk about that because the show over by 17 minutes. Because we don't want to kill the interview we're going earlier, you know.
We never hear the interview, you know. I just took, you know. So
yeah, man. We don't want to kill the interview with that part I show you. So
let me just finish my part and say what
let me ask them. Which part I show come first? The part or the interview?
It no matter. We don't want to link the show.
People never gonna like the people on the yard type and not like up the video, you know. If you like the video, you know, they're gonna be giving us super chat, but we are big on and we are asked to know intelligently to like the video and share it and go over so but telling a friend them say them to come over here so to when them not have nothing else to do over so. You see me?
Yeah.
Right now, I see like 100 and people, 100. What I want to just say? Yeah, just a little comment. Okay. Okay, I think I'm right here that get right, but you said big up the coaches there, so I like that one there.
Yeah, man. Anyways,
yeah,
man.
All right.
But CC, what you say? Quickly. You have 30 quickly. Seconds, CC.
Yeah, may I say, I think a lot of personal. I think we probably clarify this. I think that PFJL, what people not realize, Owen Hill is the CEO, but the guy with me,
Chris Williams is the chairman.
He's the chairman. So I don't want people to feel like Chris Williams is not part of the PFJL because a lot of persons keep on saying that he has walked away from the PFJL, which is not so. He's the chairman of the PFJL. Owen Hill is the CEO, and there was a sponsorship with Jane Money Services.
of I think $10 million. And Owen Hill is, I think, territory manager for Jane Money Services in Jamaica. And part of the deal was that he would be on secondment. So he's on secondment right now from Jane to oversee the PFJL for this season. So I don't want people to think that Chris Williams has stepped away. It's just showing that as a good leader, sometimes in order to achieve certain goals, sometimes you have to change up the thing. So he's now chairman with oversight, and then something that Owen Hill is the day-to-day person. So the person who deals with the day-to-day operations of the PFJ. And finally, with the Dennis Chung, if it is that is possibly the new GenSec and stuff, that means there will, I think he probably clarified that already. So there will probably be a new chairman for the finance committee.
Obviously that will happen. He said that he's not yet. The board has to ratify that, so he's waiting on that to happen. I guess he has his mind to do it. Open to what the board does at their meeting. So that is that. Big up to all the persons who
stopped by. Just want to clarify that, coach, because I think a person will realize.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, man. So big up to CC, big up to Gunners Boss, big up to Dwight, big up to Kyle. Kyle with the big super chat. Big up to Brain, Travis, all the people, Lanezra, all the people in the comment section. The man, big up yourself. GS Aguna, BM, Toki, Rob Smith, the Troublemaker, Ralston Watson, big up yourself. Toffee Rody, GS Ferran, Brain, the man who will get beaten left, right, and center. And Calabara, JC. Yeah, man, big up on yourself, people. Actually, big up yourself. People, stay safe.
3-2 Gunners over Liverpool tomorrow. That me say.
3-2.
Have a great night. Coach, I say 3-2.
All right.
Gunners over Liverpool.
All right.
Enough goal I got score.
Yeah, man, big up yourself.
All right.
Until next time, people. Stay safe. Peace out.
Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.